In a distant land, beyond the reach of time and memory, there was a temple that held a single treasure, a mirror. But this was no ordinary mirror. It was said that whoever looked into it would see not just their reflection, but the truth of their soul, their deepest fears, their greatest desires, and the path they were destined to take. The temple was hidden deep within a vast desert, surrounded by endless dunes that shifted with the wind. Many had sought the mirror, but few had ever found it. Those who did often returned, changed, their eyes filled with a knowledge they could not put into words. One day, a young woman named Leila decided she would be the one to find the mirror. She had heard the stories all her life, tales of heroes and fools who had ventured into the desert in search of the truth. Leila was neither a hero nor a fool, but she was determined. She had spent her life feeling as though something was missing, as though she was standing at the edge of a vast ocean, unable to see the shore on the other side. The mirror, she believed, would show her what she was meant to do, who she was meant to be. And so, with nothing more than a flask of water and a map handed down through generations, Leila set out into the desert. The journey was grueling. The sun beat down mercilessly and the sand burned beneath her feet. But Leila pressed on, driven by a force she couldn't quite explain. As the days turned into nights, and the nights into days, she began to lose track of time. The world became a blur of golden sands and endless skies. But just as her hope began to fade, Leila saw at the temple, standing tall against the horizon, its walls shimmering in the heat. With a final burst of energy, she pushed forward, reaching the entrance just as the sun began to set. The temple was silent, its halls echoing with the footsteps of those who had come before her. Leila walked through the darkness, guided only by the faint light that seemed to emanate from deep within. And there, in the heart of the temple, she found it, the mirror of truth. It stood alone, its surface smooth and flawless, reflecting nothing but the dim light of the chamber. Leila approached it slowly, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew that once she looked into the mirror, there would be no turning back. She would see herself as she truly was, without the veil of illusion that had protected her all these years. Taking a deep breath, Leila stepped in front of the mirror. For a moment, all she saw was her own reflection, her tired eyes, her sunburned skin. But then the image began to shift. The surface of the mirror rippled like water, and she saw something else. She saw a little girl, lost and afraid, searching for something she couldn't name. She saw a young woman, standing at the crossroads of her life, unsure of which path to take. And then she saw herself as she was now standing before the mirror, on the brink of discovering the truth. The mirror revealed to Leila not just who she was, but who she could become. It showed her the fears that had held her back, the doubts that had plagued her mind. But it also showed her the strength she had never known she possessed, the courage that had driven her to this very moment. Tears filled Leila's eyes as she realized the truth. She had spent her life searching for something outside of herself, when all along, the answers had been within her. The mirror had shown her the path, but it was up to her to walk it. Leila stood there for what felt like an eternity, absorbing the truth of what she had seen. The mirror had given her a gift: clarity. She now knew what she had to do. She had to leave behind the doubts, the fears, the voices that had told her she wasn't enough. She had to embrace the strength that had brought her to this point, the courage that had led her through the desert. With a deep breath, Leila stepped away from the mirror. She felt lighter, as though a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders. The path before her was still unknown, but for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she had the strength to face them. As Leila left the temple, the sun began to rise, casting a golden light over the desert. The journey back would be long, but she no longer felt lost. She had found the truth she had been searching for, and with it, a new sense of purpose. Leila knew that she could never go back to the life she had lived before. She had changed, and with that change came a new resolve. She would use the knowledge she had gained to help others, to guide those who were lost as she had been. And so, with the sun on her face and the desert stretching out before her, Leila set out on the path that was meant for her. She would no longer search for answers in the distance. She would find them within herself. The mirror of truth had shown her the way, and she would walk it with courage and conviction. As she disappeared into the horizon, the temple stood silent once more, waiting for the next soul who would dare to look into the mirror. For the truth it revealed was not just a reflection, but a journey that would change the life of anyone brave enough to take it. If you've ever searched for answers outside of yourself, it's time to look within. I've created a guide that can help you find your path: silent success, YouTube automation mastery, This guide will help you discover your potential and turn it into reality, just as Leila did. You can find the link in the description and in my bio. Visit my link to discover how you can find your truth, unlock your potential, and walk the path that's meant for you. Your journey begins with a single step. Take it today.